Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video. One of the things I find really fun is try and rank note-taking apps, and I like to do this mid-year and I like to do this at the end of the year just to see how things have changed and how the different applications have developed. And in today's video we are diving into my top 10. As I've said before, this is highly personal, so it will be different for everyone. These are only my personal opinions, and I just find it really fun to do. So, my top 10 is these apps right here. I'm actually not using any of the apps on the list on a daily basis because I have different needs. But I've tried to be as objective as possible. But again, it will end up being highly personal, anyways. But the first one on the list, and I will leave timestamps down below with the different placements so you can jump around if you want to see what's number 2, 3, 1 and so on. But the first one is Ample Note, and I think that this is a great note-taking app, but I think this is probably best for people who want to combine their tasks calendar together with their note taking. It is a great note taking app with backlinkings and the graph view and everything you would expect in a note taking app. It also has a plugin system, even though it doesn't have too many plugins. But it has a plugin system, which I know makes these applications a little easier to use and makes them more versatile to have a plugin system like Ample Note has, but it doesn't have too many plugins. Overall, I would say that this has a highly specific use case. This is great for people who like to use GTD, getting things done, or people who just want to focus on their tasks and their calendar and having notes alongside that. This might be a great option. And I think it is an okay note-taking app, or more than okay. It is placed top 10, but out of the 10 I have chosen in this video, I think this is the worst one. Next up, we have an application that is great for visual learners, people who like to see their notes visually. I used this for a while actually, and I think that it is a really good application. I use this more as a project management tool and less as a note-taking app, but as you can see here, it can work as a note-taking app as well. So you can divide them like this and sort of build your own workspace, and it excels at capturing things like images, files. It can work like a file storage as well. So if I jump into my archive right here, I can find a couple of files that I've saved in here because it is great at saving files as well. I can't actually seem to find them, but I have saved files in here. I've saved Adobe Illustrator files and some with video files as well. And overall, I like the application because of the visual aspect. Here you actually have the video, but I like the application because of the visual aspect. I feel like it lacks in a couple of things, one of them being search. I would like a better search, but you can get away with just organizing it really good. Like I need to spend a lot more time inside of this organizing compared to a lot of the other note-taking apps I've tested out, just because the search isn't as good as in many of the other note-taking apps I have used. It has an okay search, but it can be a lot better. I also like the versatility of this, so I've seen people use this in many different ways. This is just the way I have decided to use it. And I would say that this app probably is best if you capture more images and you capture files, file types, and you do a lot of like visual work, design work. I would say that this app would fit you. It works as sort of note-taking app as well, so you can connect different things together manually like this. It is possible to do to get that mind mapping view, but I still think that it is a lot better if you are using it more as a project management tool for visual work, or just a way to save inspiration for your projects. That's like the main two things I would recommend this for. But it is also good as an overall note-taking app, and I feel like it deserves the 9th spot on the list. Next up we have Tana, and Tana might be familiar to many of the note-takers, and I've covered it in a bunch of different videos, but this app is really good simply because it allows you to capture things like an outline, which makes things really easy to capture, and you can nest bullet points underneath other bullet points, and it excels at capture, and it does a great job at utilizing AI, using AI for things like the AI chat. You have a meeting assistant, it does voice transcription, so you have many different options with AI inside of this. But it is also great for like a more organized way of or a more organized view of your notes in databases. So whether that's Kanban boards or a calendar view or a list view that I have right here, it can do all of those things. That's what makes Tana so good. The problem with Tana, there are two things. The first one is that it is really new to the market, so it hasn't stood the test of time, which I think is important when you are going to invest time and energy into a note-taking app, learning it, putting notes inside of it, and doing all of those things. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it is quite pricey, with a yearly plan coming in at $14 each month and the monthly plan coming in at $18 each month. So it is quite pricey, but it is also a really powerful application. I would say that this is probably best for the more hardcore note takers and personal knowledge management people who really like to spend a lot of time in their note taking app connecting things, and they are really dependent on having a system like in Tana, or like you can build in Tana. That's who I would say this is for. If you're more of a lightweight note taker, this might not be the application for you. Next up, we have another visual one, but this is more of a visual note-taking app for people who like to capture text, while I think that Milanote is for capturing images and files. This is for capturing text. So here you can connect different things together using the arrows. We have backlinking abilities as well, so you can link different things together inside of these whiteboards right here. So if I jump forward or zoom in, you can see that things are linked together right here. So you can actually link different things together inside of this application, both using the arrows right here, and you can also use backlinking as well. You have a card library which shows you every single one of your cards. You also have the different maps, which are the whiteboards, but what makes this app really amazing is, just like Tana, you have the ability to see an unstructured view of your data, but you also have a way to see a more structured view of the same data. You can see it in databases like this, and you can add properties to these databases, and you can even view it as a Kanban board as well. So that is a really great thing about this application, and it has some basic task management as well as a journal page, which can function as an inbox or actually a way to do some minor journaling. So that is Heptabase. So sixth place, I think this is sixth place. It should be sixth place. We have Evernote, and Evernote is one of the oldest note-taking applications, but they have done a lot of work to make this much better and improve the application. We now have a calendar integration. We have daily notes as well. I got a notification about daily notes. You can actually have daily notes inside of here as well. You have the scratch pad, you have the ability to sketch, you have audio files and transcription inside of this application as well. And this will be really familiar to people who take notes, simply because it has the notebook structure that you would expect in a physical notebook. So you can have different notebooks and you can put notes inside of them. So that is a really familiar layout for a lot of note takers, and Evernote has actually stood the test of time, being one of the oldest note-taking applications out there. It got acquired by Bending Spoons. I think it's 2 years ago now. Around 2 years ago, 1.5 probably, something like that. But after it got acquired, they fixed a lot of the syncing issues that it had, a lot of the bugs, and they started implementing a lot of AI features, which a lot of the newer note-taking apps have. An example of this is the daily notes that things like Heptabase have, things like Tana has, and now we have that inside of Evernote as well, which is it is really cool and great to see that they are developing and implementing a lot of the features that note takers today expect in a note-taking app. Pricing wise, it is still a little expensive. They actually Bending Spoons actually made it a little more expensive when they acquired the application, but I wouldn't say that it is like Tana or Rome expensive. It isn't at that level, but for the personal plan, this will cost you around $8-9 each month. This is in Norwegian kroner, so this comes in at around $9 each month. This is 13, while this is 17. So not terrible. But still one of the more pricier options. Next up, we have another newcomer on this list. This is one of the newer applications, Capacities. I've covered it in a bunch of videos, but this is object-based note-taking, just like something like Anytype that many people on my channel are familiar with, but I feel like this is more approachable and people like the user interface of this a lot better than something like Anytype. I personally have struggled to understand this, but basically your notes are objects, so you organize things using objects, for example outfits, books. I have projects, I have personal social medias. I would probably do it a little differently now if I were to start this over again. But these objects can actually be viewed in a database format with different views, as you can see right here. And we also have a calendar for your daily notes and things like tasks. They are actually working on making this available offline as well. That might take a while. But having offline availability in a note-taking application is something a lot of people do like and want. And we also have a graph view here, so you can see how everything is connected together. That is also something a lot of people do enjoy in a note-taking app. But I feel like this is a very powerful application. I like object-based note-taking. It makes sense. I think that it is good when it comes to using AI as well, having objects. And I think that this will become one of the more popular options in the future, and I understand why people are falling in love with this application. So you might have tried out Mem.ai when that first came. This is what Mem promised us. This is an application that utilizes AI, uses the AI chat, and it is also one of these networked notes applications. You have daily notes inside of here. You have the ability to connect your notes together and see your graph. You have basic task functionality. If you are on an Android device, an Android phone, or even an Android tablet, and you want to use this on your tablet, this will not be the application for you. They have a web version, which I use, but on my mobile app, I have an iPhone, and they only have an iPhone application. I think they recently removed their test flight application and they released their full version of their iOS application. But it is mainly for people who uses iOS devices on the go. But if you have a Windows computer like I do and you have an iPhone and an iPad, and even a Mac, I have a Mac as well, you can use this application because it has a web version as well. But I like this application for many reasons. One of them is that it is really approachable. It is an easier way to get into network notes. And it also does a great job at utilizing AI. One of the things I dislike about this is that they don't have a monthly pricing plan. You can only pay for the yearly plan. They only offer a yearly pricing plan, which might be a too big of an investment for someone to make. That's one of the things I dislike about it. Another thing is that doesn't do it doesn't do file uploads and doesn't do a good job at things like images, or it doesn't even have the ability to upload files. It didn't, at least the last time I tried it. And it doesn't want to be a place for you to upload your files. It is a text heavy platform, and that is something I personally do not like. I need to be able to capture images, and that's one of the reasons why I have put it in fourth and not higher. Another older application that has stood the test of time is actually Workflowy, and Workflowy is an outliner just like Tana, where you can have your notes, your bullet points, and you can nest them underneath other bullet points, which is a really easy way to take notes and a way to take notes that I really enjoy. It also has the ability to allow you to see things in a Kanban view, and you can use this as a Kanban board, so this can work as your project management tool as well. I've even seen teams using this. I would say that this is probably for smaller teams, but you have the Kanbaning view. You can also write paragraphs in this if you wanted to, and not do the bullet points but do paragraphs instead. So it is a highly versatile application. It has a backlinking and it has something called mirror things, and I really love the mirror things idea. You can mirror your bullet points so they can live in multiple places, so you will have a synced copy of your bullet point live in multiple different places. You can see that these bullets that are diamond shaped, these are mirrored. That is one of the things I absolutely love about this application. One of the problems I and many other note takers have is that we end up duplicating a lot of our notes, and that is something Workflowy will help you not to do. It is also really approachable. Even though it has a lot of features, I feel like this is really easy to get into and use, and I think that it deserves the third place. It is also really cheap compared to a lot of the other note-taking apps out there. So in second place we have Notion, and Notion is a tool a lot of people are familiar with. Amazing application. I have a few things I don't like about it, one of them being that it is slow. It has gotten a lot better, but the second thing is that it is hard to export everything out properly and move it into another note-taking app, and that is the case for many note-taking apps, but I feel like in Notion, with the main selling point being the databases, it gets even harder. But apart from that, I think that it is a great application. It feels more like a project management tool than a note-taking app, but it can double down to being both. So I have my notes right here. As you can see, a lot of old notes right here. I have my books and podcasts. You can have your goals, your clippings from the web. I have social media ideas inside of here, so you can actually do a lot inside of Notion. They have also recently added Notion Home, which allows you to see your tasks and your upcoming events inside of Notion. And just overall, I feel like they are continuing to develop and do a lot of great things with the application. And even though it has a high learning curve, I feel like it has so many different tutorials on YouTube and so many great tutorials that you will end up learning the tool anyways. They have a great free plan if you would wish to not pay for this, but you can get the pro plan, and you can even add an additional Q&A AI inside of here, so you can chat with your knowledge inside of Notion. So this has also been around for a while now, and I feel like it deserves the second place, but there is one app that is better than Notion. The best app on this list is Obsidian, an application that a lot of people do love and a lot of people use every single day. It has a great community. It has a learning curve to it, but you can, just like Notion, watch a lot of the great YouTube videos to learn this application. I struggle with this just for two main reasons. One of them being that I have this problem where I spend more time organizing than actually working. That's the first thing. The second thing is that all of the files are stored locally, which is great. You own your own files. You can always move them to another application. But in my case, I tend to save a lot of images inside of my Second Brain or my note-taking app. And that means that it takes up a lot of space. So that is just something I have to keep in mind when I am using this application. I also have struggled with the syncing when I've used third-party sync. So you can actually use this application for free and use something like iCloud Drive to sync this across devices. That's something I've tried, or you can actually just pay for their syncing plan. But I have personally not used this application, but I see how powerful it is. And you, in order to get out everything you want from this application, you actually have to use the plugin ecosystem. So we have plugins inside of Obsidian that makes it easier for us to actually do a lot of the things that a lot of other note-taking apps does. So for example, you can have databases inside of here. That's one plugin, and there are a bunch that I just haven't tested out. You can do task management inside of this using plugins, and we even have whiteboards inside of this application. So this is probably the best one out there, with the main selling point of you actually owning your own notes and the app being so versatile that you can turn it to anything you want it to. This definitely deserves the first place because it is the best note-taking app out there.